I think Lancastrians can be every bit as proud of this sort of scenery as Yorkshiremen like me can be of the Yorkshire Dales. Right, so here we are at the Route 59 cafe, and it's gloomy, dull, and even threatening a bit of the wet stuff. And yeah, I'll just show you a picture here of what the BBC weather app says it is doing right now, right here. Have a look at this. There you go. Thanks BBC. Just like the Met Office, even on the same day, utterly hopeless. So anyway, here we are at the Route 59 cafe. Just having a ride out with one of my subscribers here, Andy, who's got the Trough T100 Bonneville there. And he's just talking weather again with this chap here that's on that Triumph Thruxton over there. Beautiful looking thing. And we're going to go visit the Trough of Bowland, and it's many years since I've been to the Trough of Bowland, which is actually in Lancashire. So me being a Yorkshireman, obviously I've had my injections, so I can go over to Red Rose territory. But the last time I was there, I couldn't find my way out of the Trough of Bowland. Trough, excellent name, because I must have ridden round it 20 times before I could find my way out. It was like being in one of them there time loops. Hey, Andy assures me he knows where he's going, so that'll be absolutely fine. Always nice to have a ride out with a subscriber, and if any of you good people out there at any time when weather and circumstances permit want to go for a ride out and I'm available, give me a shout. thebingleyWheeler@gmail.com. thebingleyWheeler@gmail.com. Feel free to drop me an email, and if we can get our respective schedules to map over each other, let's do it, eh? You might live in a part of the world that I've not explored thoroughly, and you might want to show me one or two new routes. And of course, if you like what you've seen on this channel in terms of the local geography here in the Yorkshire Dales, I'll be more than happy to show you some of the sweet spots in this God's own county. So, Dr. BBC and Dr. UK Met Office, you have promised today, as did Sky News this morning, as did the BBC this morning, that it will be wall-to-wall sunshine, a 0% chance of rain, right across England, with the possible exception of the very far north, i.e. Scottish borders. So let's see how accurate that is at the moment. Hey! What a load of old bollocks. Right, yeah, so Andy's there on his Triumph T100 Bonneville T100. So he's got a few more horses than I have, and I'm still running in. I'm on 194 mile. I think today will take me just over 300, and then she'll need to go back to Appleyards for her first service, and I think I'm looking at a sort of 7 to 10 day lead time. So any riding to be done during that period will be on the Pan-European. And thank you for all of the comments that I received concerning this bike, and with particular reference actually to the relatively hard suspension at the rear. Quite a few people have suggested, and it's somewhat counterintuitive this, have suggested actually dialing up the preload by a couple of notches. And when several people give you that same tip, you better believe that there's something to it. So I haven't done that yet, but I will be doing. It's not a showstopper, it's not killing me, but it could be better. Front suspension, on the other hand, on the Showa inverted forks, is absolutely superb. So if any of you watched that last video that I did, which was sort of in celebration of 5,000 subscribers and 1 million views, I tried to film that in 5.3K instead of 4, and yet again when it uploads to YouTube it puts a border around it. Did you notice that? There's a border around it, and I've no idea, it only ever does it when I try to shoot on the GoPro at 5.3K wide view, 30 frames per second, shutter speed of 60th, bog standard settings, which in 4K don't give me any issues whatsoever. But every time I do it in 5.3K, for some reason it gets a border around it. No idea. So anyway, back to 4K it is. If any of you out there do know why that is, the software I use is Wondershare Filmora, which I have to say has me tearing my bloody hair out what's left of it. With some of the crazy things that it seems to do, but I suspect it's a Filmora issue rather than a YouTube issue. Anyway, hopefully this being 4K, and I'm recording this on a new GoPro Hero 12, and the camera in front here is the Hero 10. And they're both in 4K, so hopefully there won't be a border. Yeah, so Andy up front's a qualified pilot, he tells me. Lucky fella. I took flying lessons back in the 1990s, but I ran out of money. But while I was doing it, I really enjoyed it. Clocked up a few hours, passed a couple of exams, and then the mortgage rates went out of control, and I just ended up running out of money, so I couldn't continue. It was even back then, talking 1994ish, even back then it were £279 per hour per lesson. Hoping you can hear the sound of this beautiful engine and exhaust note on this here Super Meteor. For a stock exhaust system it sounds glorious. So certainly loving this bike so far. Never thought I'd find myself aboard any sort of cruiser, but it just goes to show that you shouldn't really have strong opinions about things that you've never ever tried, because you may well be pleasantly surprised, as indeed I was. And as cruiser riding positions go, because it's not a massive bike, it's a big bike and it's a fairly heavy bike, same weight as a bloody GS, but as cruisers go, it's not an extreme cruiser riding position. I think a lot of that is down to the shall we say modest size of the bike. But it's a lot bigger than its little sibling, the Meteor, that's for sure. And that extra 27 horses afforded by this engine over the single cylinder J-series engine in the Meteor and the Classic and the Hunter and the Bullet now, that little bit of extra power can come in very useful. And as I've said previously, the general rule of thumb I'm using for running in purposes, because there isn't a rev counter on this bike, is the no more than 10 mile per hour in first, 20 in second, 30 in third, 40 in fourth, 50 in fifth, 60 in sixth. And I reckon that'll keep me just about where I need to be. So I notice that rumours aplenty emerge regarding a Royal Enfield Interceptor Scrambler. Been some spy shots of what's reported to be Royal Enfield's latest iteration with the 650 twin platform. So that'd be interesting. But like all things Royal Enfield, trying to second guess what they will pull out of the hat next is a highly speculative process. I think I'm sure they've got a media propaganda machine somewhere in Royal Enfield to set a few hairs running in the modern classic community about what they're about to produce next. But I suspect we'll find out at EICMA or Motorcycle Live at the NEC in November. So myself and VFR Mitch are going down to that again this year, to Motorcycle Live, and we're going on the 23rd of November. 23rd of November, so if you're down at the NEC on the 23rd of November and you see an ugly bald bloke in a blue jumper with TBW on it, it's me. Feel free to come up and yeah, tell me what a bell end you think I am. I don't know, whatever. Okay, so we've just had a pot of steam in this here little cafe in Sladeburn. So we're now in Red Rose country, Lancashire. And he informs me we are pretty much in the Trough of Bowland. And he's now going to show me atop a hill. From where he shows me, you can see Blackpool Tower. On a good day. I'm not sure if this qualifies as a good day. It's still a bit gloomy. Let's see what transpires here. Majestic vista all around, and I think it's fair to say there's a very real feeling of being, shall we say, nursed by the landscape. Look at that, beautiful. You just get a real sense of the way that rivers and glaciers carve themselves through the landscape over thousands, millions of years. Want to go over there, would you? Oh no! That looks like that place where Moto UK stops to the Tuck van. I may be wrong, but it looks rather familiar. Let me know, Nick. Is that where you filmed previously? I'm sure it is. Water everywhere, and all the boards did shrink. Water everywhere, nor any drop to drink. You know what that's from? The Rime of the Ancient Mariner by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Look at that. I mean, we are literally carving through this landscape on these here superb modern classic motorcycles. Which are now a little bit mucky and lardy. But no matter, small price to pay to be able to ride through this. Even though we are in Lancashire. I think Lancastrians can be every bit as proud of this sort of scenery as Yorkshiremen like me can be of the Yorkshire Dales. And we're all still northerners when all's said and done, aren't we? City of Lancaster. So Lancaster is to Lancashire as York is to Yorkshire. And of course, casting our minds back to the War of the Roses, the House of Lancaster and the House of York. Yorkshire won that one. Just look at this. It's a shame it's as gloomy as it is, but I should imagine in really good weather this is absolutely spectacular. I mean, these glorious colours, these shades of orange and brown verging on red, of course are all to do with this time of year. But even so, very spectacular. I suppose it's as close as we're going to get to Vermont in the fall, New England in the fall. I used to be at a name all the New England states back in my pub quiz days many years ago. I'd struggle now. What is it? Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Maine, yeah, Maryland, not so sure, Connecticut definitely. Anyway, this is about as close to as we'll get in this country to that sort of landscape. Maybe that's why they call it New England. I doubt it. I think that was more to do with the settlers back in the day, wouldn't it? Just watch this here sheep. It's got Super Meteor written on it, that sheep. But yeah, absolutely beautiful. Just look at these trees, how majestic are they? Did you see that absolute bellend that cut down that tree by Hadrian's Wall up in Northumbria? What a scumbag. One person stupid, childish, idiotic, possibly drug and or drink fueled evil, and bringing such a lot of sadness to people's hearts, you know, people that have scattered the ashes of loved ones under there, people that have got married under there, people that have had the kids christened there, and some utter arsehole takes a chainsaw to it. For what? Pub bet, what it? Where are you going? Yeah, this will definitely be worth a return visit. It's awesome. I may well be adding this to my ever-growing list of spectacular scenic rides, even though it's not in Yorkshire. More. This must be the place.